Hello everybody, Jose Rodriguez here. I'm back again to talk about a very interesting subject and popular subject, longevity of your photo prints. We're all printing with inkjet printers. We are producing our prints, as you can see from this example right here, rather large print. How long will this print last? Well, let me give you a bit of background information on this particular print. It was printed on the Pro 1000 from Canon. That is the IPF Pro 1000 using original OEM inks and Canson watercolor paper. It is uncoated. It does not have any optical brightening agents, and it has been sprayed 3 coats on top and 2 coats in the rear, which is just basically a simple fiber-based, not resin coated. So what better choice, right? Well, you might think that the only factor in longevity is your inks. And of course, it is a major factor, but also the second biggest factor is the paper that you choose to print on. I just today received an email from Ardenberg Imaging Group, and I'm going to go ahead and share that with you. I often get emails from them because I am a member. And basically, look at that. I mean, come on. But anyway, this email was focusing on print longevity. And why? Because that's what they do. They test paper, printer, and ink combinations for the ability to last a long time. They measure it in megalux of exposure. Give you a little bit of background. Spread the news, media matters. Yes, so media does matter a lot. Ardenberg Imaging and Archives Media Matters campaign focuses on essential knowledge and key concepts to be drawn from the extensive light fade database, available only at Ardenberg Imaging for the benefit of printmakers worldwide. Dear AAI and A members, we are considering all 3 components of today's modern inkjet system: printer, ink, and media. In this case, of course, I mean paper, in canvas, and other types of media, obviously. Printmakers must not underestimate the effect of media choice on print longevity. Identical printer-ink combinations paired with media often regarded as archival can produce dramatically different results. For example, take a look at the following 3 tests from the Ardenberg Imaging Light Fade Test Database. And these are numbered 317, 318, and 333. All tests were printed on the same Canon Pro 1000 printer using the same batch of Canon Pro-11 OEM inks, ID number 317, and one of them was printed on RC photo paper that contains OBAs and TiO2, whatever that is. I think is titanium oxide, hence suffers from light-induced low-intensity staining. Lillis ID 318 was printed on OBA-free matte fine art paper, and it is more than 2 times life-fast compared to the ID 333, who was printed on an OBA-free traditional fiber luster paper. Let's take a look at the actual numbers here. So, sample 1, 2, and 3, top sample, Canon Photo Paper Pro, luster. And that's what I use all the time, mostly. 10 to 39 megalux hours, and it started to fade somewhere in between that. Let's look at the Red River Palo Duro soft gloss rag, 55 to 65 megalux hours, and that's what, about 5 times from the lower number, 10 compared to 51, and 39 compared to 65 is just a bit less of a ratio. But what this tells you is that apparently it can fade as soon as it is exposed to 10 or more megalux. And after 39, they just stopped testing, basically, because it was fading way too much. The Canon Pro 1000 with OEM inks against Red River Palo Duro soft gloss rag, it had a 51 megalux hour beginning to fade, and they stopped at 65. So therefore, there seems to be a bit more consistency with this particular make of paper. Here, you have a much higher level of inconsistency. It can begin to fade at 10. It can begin to fade somewhere between that. That means that the batches do differ. in their performance, whereas this is more a consistent batch or along a box of paper, for instance. That does not sound good, folks. This does. Now, Moab Entrada Rag Natural 300 gram paper. It took 126 megalux hours of exposure to begin to show fade, and that is 12 times higher than Canon Pro Luster. Isn't that something? So that tells you right there how important paper is, even when printing on OEM ink and using, in this case right here, OEM paper. These two are third-party type papers, but don't let that sway you one way or another. There are not that many paper mills out there, and they produce papers for just about everyone. So this basically occurred because it is a resin-coated paper with a high level of optical brightening agents. And that's the important thing. You want longevity? Buy papers without OBAs. That is it. Now keep in mind, if you are a third-party ink provider, you have to pay them to perform a test for your inks. The only company that I know that has done that is Inkjet Mall or Cone Color Inks. They have a lot more revenue than the smaller third-party companies have, and so therefore they are very confident on their inks, and they have provided them with samples. They have produced the prints, and they have paid for the test to be performed. Any other company, because you don't see many third-party ink testing, hardly any whatsoever. We did some for precision colors, and of course it showed much quicker fading on Canon Pro Luster paper, which is probably the worst paper you can choose. And so yeah, that told a story by itself. They never did finish the test though, but anyway, it showed within a couple of megalux of light exposure they began to see fading on Pro Luster paper using Precision Colors Pro 100 dye inks. Of course that would happen. I would love to see the Canon Pro 100 with OEM inks tested by Ardenberg, just to compare the results between the two. Anyway, so that is it. If you're interested in this type of scientific testing and you want to see actual results and make comparisons, just go to Ardenberg Imaging, and you will be able to then set up an account so that you can then log on and have access to all of this really great information. That is it. Thank you so much for watching. Always don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification button, and click on always so that you get a notification every time I upload a new video. That way you will not miss out on anything that I put out. Thank you so much. Happy printing, everybody, and bye-bye.